Okay everybody, I've got this all set up. We're gonna finish up. I sewed some of these pockets along the side, but I'm going to go ahead and sew these and get this ready for the joining of the pockets, I guess you could say. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Perfect. Okay. I'm using a thread. It's a 69 bonded nylon thread in black that I actually purchased at the convention this year. Earlier in October, and the thread came from the company Cobra Leather Machine Company. It is a really good smooth thread. It's got a I think it's got a not a wax base, but I don't know, the thread is just really smooth when you pull it through the machine. When it sews, it's just incredible. So I went ahead and purchased a 206 or a 138 thread, which is in brown, and then this 69 thread, which is in black. And it just, to me, it makes a difference on the sew and the look once you're done. Really smooth, really clean thread. Never had a problem with it. I've used the Cobra thread in the 138 black for a long time. I just recently went ahead and purchased the thinner black and the thicker brown. Alright, those should be done. I'll be back in a few minutes to begin sewing these into the top pocket wall, and we'll go from there. Okay everyone, now we're going to get this started. What I'm going to do, and if you see here, I cut out the edges on this. It's like this here. Right here, I cut it out. It looks like a T, and the reason is so that you can sew in the top section, but all this down here moves away from the edge, which makes it thinner when you're sewing down the edge or lacing. It just makes it more uniformed and even. No one will ever know it's not even there. So it's a little leather trick that everybody in our industry does, and probably most other industries as well. When they're making pockets or sleeves or anything like that, a lot of times they will cut those off right on the very edge. Doesn't have to be very far, just far enough to be able to let it work as it's supposed to, and it will thin out the side of the project considerably. Okay, let's see what we can do here. It's kind of nice to be able to do it either way. Hand sew it like we're doing right here, or turn the machine on and do it both. If you have a Tippmann Boss leather stitcher, it's only hand operated. Well, sometimes you can't use, well, sometimes you need both hands when you're working with the project. And little times you don't, like now. I can roll the handle or the flywheel and it does just fine. Tippmann's does wonderful, but it's only a hand crank, which is nice in some cases because it still sews through a 3/4 inch of leather. But number one, their throat isn't very big on the Boss. Number two, the you can't do a lot of big work on it, like big bags or anything, simply because the throat isn't deep enough. Which I guess that's okay if you're doing some gun holsters, knife sheaths, stuff like that. It does wonderful. Like I said, it sews through a 3/4 inch of leather, but it is limited considerably. So the only problem with my Seiko is it doesn't sew through 3/4 of an inch of leather. But how many times am I ever gonna sew that thick? Probably never. Now Tippmann does have the cylinder head, whereas my Seiko does not. But you can always work around that. Okay, first one, sewed in really nice, right on the edge. So we'll get this second one. And what I do on these, if I can get it out of my little bucket here, I'm using a 1/4 inch piece of wood that gives me what I call a spacer. The way I do it on these long pockets, I'll go down here on this side, get it all lined up, like so. Make sure it's even on this end. Looks pretty good. Got to make sure I get my 1/4 inch alignment. Right about there. It should be just about right. Okay, bring that up a little bit. All right. There, gives me a little bit of stability. Take it, whoop, put it back in there. Take this down at this end. Even up on this end, like so. Good and snug. And all we have to do now is glue the edges on the bottom, like so. The pig lining is very thin. It's very durable. The only problem is pig lining doesn't have a gloss, very strong gloss finish, unless you get what they call mission grain pig lining. and it's a little thicker, but they put a real nice gloss finish on it. A lot of people don't like using it. I don't really care to either, but it's okay. All right, let me make a little, see if there's an adjustment here that I have to work on. Let's see. Okay, that needs to come up a little bit. Needs to come up some. Right there, right there. Check this side a little bit. Oop. Moved it right about there. Very critical to get your pockets lined up evenly. Otherwise, it's going to be angling. Last thing you want to do. Okay. Okay. Here we go. If ever y'all get a chance, go to my website, legendaryleatherwork.com. Come check out quite a few of the items that are on the website, or go back through and watch and listen to my previous videos on YouTube, Legendary Leatherwork, or as I call it, Blind Leatherworker. Love to see you come out and say hello in the comments. And if you have friends that come out, tell them to please subscribe. That makes me know that I'm doing what I like to do and you guys are enjoying watching a little bit. See how this comes out. Okay. Get rid of all my threads. I'm really excited about using or making a wallet out of the turtle skin, the snapping turtle leather that I got at the leather convention just recently. Okay, that feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. Let's put this last one on there. Then what I'll do is go ahead and just sew right down the middle once I get the measurement lined up. Get that sewed in, and ready for the next step. Make sure I get my 1/8 inch. See how thin that really comes out to be right on that edge, and when it's on the inside of the wallet, it will really be shown. When you're sewing in the side, makes it a little bit easier to deal with. Mostly on thicker leathers, but hey, thin leathers as well. Okay, let's get this one over here glued down. Right about there. Okay. All right, I'm going to do some measurements and I'll come right back with you and we'll sew down the middle.